Hello all, welcome back to Data Craft Institute. So today we will be learning about group by and having clause. This is the second video of module 3. So let's start. So what is the core concept? The group by statement groups rows that have the same value in specified columns into summary rows. Let us understand this with the help of an example. So when you say group by, in the previous module, we learned about aggregation functions, which was applied on the entire table, like the sum of salary. But a group by gives you the salary per department. For example, you want to know the salary, how much salary each department withdraws. For example, HR has two employees, the combined salary would be 65k plus 45k. Similarly, sales, you will have to combine the two salaries. So when you will be combining the salaries, you will get one row per department if you group by the department. So it will look somewhat like this. Sales, you will have, this would be the aggregated value per sales. IT, you will have, this is 1,55,000 as the aggregated value, and HR, you will have 1,10,000. The respective employees in each department doesn't matter if you are grouping by the department. Okay, so this is the syntax is very simple. You need to do a select statement, department, and whatever aggregation function we learned previously, you can apply that from employee group by department. Okay, there is a simple syntax to it. We will learn it, we will see the practicals very soon. There are three key rules for group by. One is that the select column rule, which is very important. Any non-aggregated column in the select clause must be present in the group by clause. Non-aggregated means the one on which aggregation is not applied. For example, here the column is salary on which the aggregation is applied. You need to find the sum of salaries, for example. Okay, or you need to find the count of employees, but any non-aggregated column which is there in the select, okay, here department is in the select, must be in the group by clause. Now why is it so, we will explain further. Aggregation functions like sum, average, count operate across the group of rows to return a single value per group. So when you apply a group by clause, you will only get one row per group. This is very important. Okay, and pre-grouping filters, we need to use where before the group by clause if you need to remove individual rows before group calculation begins. Suppose you need to remove employees, or you suppose you're forming a team, a football team. Now you, before forming a team, you need to remove the students who are below 18 years of age. Okay, so before forming a team, whatever you filter you apply, that you apply with a where condition. Okay, so before group by, whatever filter you apply with a where condition. And if you want to apply a filter after forming a team, what do you do? That is the having clause. We will learn about it later. But first, let's jump into some practicals. So here we will be using Snowflake for our example. Till now we were using DB SQLite, but I thought that let's use Snowflake for this particular examples, because to be honest I was working something on Snowflake and I thought we will give you a demo also, but we will have separate tutorials on Snowflake, but this is just for SQL demo. So first we will create a table with this statement. Okay, this is just creating a table with these columns, and then we will insert into the table these values. This is the insert query. Insert query we have not covered yet, but I will just give you an example. Insert into table, whichever columns you want to insert, then the values clause. Okay, insert into table, then you have to have the values clause, and then you have to insert your values. Each row of values have to be separated with the round braces and comma. Okay, so each row has to be put in a round braces. Okay, and every row should be separated with a comma. This is how you insert into the any table. You have to insert, if you have to insert values into any table, this is the standard syntax. Okay, in Snowflake and mostly in any other database also, it is more or less the same. So now if I will do a select star from employees, you will see these are the values. Okay, HR department, and this is the values. Now suppose I want, let me take a photo of this. Okay, I will just take a screenshot of this so that we can see later. Okay, now suppose I want to find the sum of salaries. Okay, select sum of salary from employee. Okay, this is the aggregate function that we learned earlier. Now this will give you the sum of salary for all the employees, which is 4,30,000. Okay. Now I want to know per department what is the sum of salaries for employee. But here, if I will do some group by department, it will give an error. Okay. It will not give an error, but you don't know which department it is referring to. It is giving sum of salaries per department. Sometimes it will give an error in some DBs, but here you don't know which particular department, so you will put the department also in the select clause. Now when you run it, you know which particular department is the sum of salaries per department. So this is what group by does essentially. It gives you the sum of salaries per department. Now remember I told you, if I write name here, name. Now what would happen if I write name here? This would give me an error. Sometimes it will, some databases like Snowflake, it will give an error. Some databases it will not give an error. It will simply execute it, but it will give you a wrong result. So let us see what is the error over here. Employee name in the select clause is neither an aggregate nor in the group by clause. So let us switch back to that particular example which I showed you, that particular slide which we showed, which we displayed earlier. So as per this slide, any non-aggregate column in the select clause must be present in the group by clause. Why? Because the group by clause will give you one particular line item, one particular row. Okay, it will give you one row for the aggregated function. For example, for each department, it will give you one row. And that is the main reason why you need to put anything which is in the select, which is not an aggregate, on which an aggregate function is not applied, you need to put it in the group by clause. Let us try to understand this again with the example. Now what happens here? Now if you see the pic which I took earlier, now group by has to, when you group by department, it has to give you the output of one row, and it has to sum the salaries per department, one row per department. But this department has two names, Anita and Priya. SQL will get confused which name to show in that one row. Okay, when you group something by department, SQL will give you only one row. But if you have something in the select clause also, and SQL has to display it, select means SQL has to display this, but SQL gets confused which one to display in that one row, because group by department will give you one row. Okay, but in a select you have a name, and it creates a sense of ambiguity. SQL gets confused, should I display that some salary for Anita, or should I display the some salary for Priya? That is why it is asking you to put it in the group by statement. But here it will not make much sense. If you put it in the group by statement, it is just like the whole table. Okay, Anita, Priya both will come, their salaries will be divided. Okay, but if you want to know the sum of salaries per department, what is per department, you should only give department here. Okay, means you need to see the salary per department. That is the ask, right? You want to know the salary per department. So you only need to give department over here. Okay. In some DBs, don't get confused, you will not get an error. For example, if I'll show you a DB SQL Lite DB, here if I will run this, this will not give me an error. Like I will give name and only group by department, but it is giving me one row per department. The HR sum is 1,10,000. 1,10,000. but it is showing Anita's name. Okay, so this means that Anita's salary is 1,10,000, which is wrong. Anita's salary is only 45,000. Okay, so if you need, so this is wrong data. Sometimes some databases it will not show an error. So because of which, so DB SQLite is an example. You need to make sure whatever you have in the select clause, you need to have that in the group by clause, so that the depiction is not wrong. Okay, some Snowflake gives you an error, sometimes it doesn't give you an error. Some databases doesn't give you an error. Okay, so now moving forward, let us apply a where clause here. Suppose I want to have salaries uh, only which is more than like for those employees who joined after a particular date. So I want to show the sum of salaries for those employees who have joined after 2021. So I'll just take this, and if you see my results changed. Okay, so for HR, if you see my salary reduced, it became only 45,000 because she joined in 2021. My condition is where year of joining date is there. Don't worry about these functions. When we will learn Snowflake, we will cover this. Okay, so she joined in 2021, but I am only interested in salaries after 2021. So only this salary will come. That is why for HR department now it is coming 45,000. Okay, so moving on, let us see having clause now. So what is having clause? Let us understand the difference between having and where. So we know that where is executed before rows are built. Suppose you are having a team, like I said earlier, you are building a team of football players. You want to remove people who are less than 18 years of age. So you remove people before forming a group. Okay, only people greater than 18 years of age will be you will be making a team of only people greater than 18 years of age. What about after forming a team? You need to remove people. For example, you did a match for all the teams, and some teams scored below 3 goals. You want to remove those teams. Okay, so after forming a team, if you want to apply any filter, you use the having clause. Okay, so it is executed where is executed before the rows are grouped, and having is executed after the rows are grouped by group by. And where clause cannot be used with aggregate functions, because generally aggregate functions are used on groups or on the total data. You can only use it on single row functions like salary greater than 5,000, but not aggregate functions. But having is specifically designed for aggregate functions. Okay, so this is specifically designed for an aggregate functions only. So it where is filters raw table rows, and filters and having filters aggregated groups. And where comes before group by, always remember this, very very important, and having comes after group by. Okay, aggregate function it is not allowed with where, is fully allowed with having clause. Okay, can be used without group by clause, it is almost always used with a group by clause. Moving forward, so let us go into the practicals, and after that we will revise the execution of it. So let us apply the having clause here. Okay, you need to know only those departments. Okay, so I will not give this where, give this condition, or I'll apply here itself. Having, now you can put an alias also here, some salary as SAL. No, I will not put that alias over here. Having some salary, okay, greater than, suppose 60,000. It should be greater than, sum of salary greater than 60,000. So you see I have only two rows over here. We cannot, if what if I apply where over here? where some salary, it will not work. Unexpected where, because only you cannot apply where on a group by function. You can apply where before group by. Okay, remember this order. Okay, where comes before group by. Now if you put an alias over here like total salary, okay, sum of salary, let me say total salary. Can you put total salary greater than 60,000? Yes, you can put total salary greater than 60,000 also. Okay, so this is how you apply the having clause. Now let us see the execution order. So this is the execution order. First is the from or join. We will learn the join in the next module. So from is identify the base table from where you are getting the data, then where, filter the rows, then group by, organize it into groups, and summation. Somewhere here the aggregation also comes, and then having, filter the groups. Okay, then select, express required output columns, and then order by. Okay, we will be ordering the data. One more thing to note over here is that previously we saw that you are able to filter data with the having clause using aliases, but the select is executed after having. So ideally you should not be able to. Okay, logically thinking, because select is executed after having, how does having know what is the alias? For example here, how does having know that total salary, some salary is total salary? Okay, generally in where clause it is not allowed. Okay, so what happens here, for example, what happens here is that why it is able to do it, because in some databases it is allowed. Okay, some databases generally replaces this total salary with some salary. Okay, even though the SQL execution order is correct, but some databases give you the feature, and Snowflake is one of them. Okay, so don't get confused. SQL order is the same, but for ease of conveniences, some databases allow that. Okay, so thank you all. We will see you in the next module, and where we will be covering join, and yeah, let's catch up. Thank you so much.